Sandali here, and now, at last but not least, I'm going to break down the San Diego Chargers draft needs. There's been speculation about them trading Phillip Rivers, all the way up to to get the number 2 pick from the Tennessee Titans. Are they on something to even think of that? I don't know if they're really thinking of trading Rivers. First of all, they're on something. I mean, Rivers produces like a top 10 quarterback in my opinion. Maybe top 15. If he was healthy at the end last year, excuse me, they might squeak into the playoffs. His back injury, that's going to be the biggest question mark for them. I mean, I feel like if he's healthy, they have a shot at the playoffs again. I know Antonio Gates wants to play less. Probably because he's getting up there in age. I mean, he's been in the league for what, 11, 12 years? But their draft needs really are, they need a lot of help in the running game. They need offensive line help. They need to think about building up their secondary. Eric Well is a heck of a player, but one guy can't do it all. A lot of people say, well, I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, they have Eric Weddle and Matt Taiteo. I mean, Matt Taiteo is pretty average. But you need depth. I've always believed the deepest team in the NFL usually wins the Super Bowl. You saw the Patriots, bring in guy after guy after guy after guy, and he produces. I mean, obviously, you've got to get production from everybody to win a championship. But Phillip Rivers' health is really the biggest question mark for me when I think about the Chargers. Excuse me. Because when I think about them, I think they're a wild card contender. I don't think that I think the Chiefs might run away with this division, to be quite honest. I don't think the Broncos are that good. I don't think the Raiders are a couple of years away from really doing anything. The Chargers, even with the threat of moving, and maybe this is why they're thinking of trading Rivers. Oh, these current reports. Yeah, there's a lot of reports out there. Excuse me. I think Rivers really likes San Diego. He enjoys the city. I think he loves it. I've never been to San Diego. I've always wanted to go. I've seen whenever the Astros used to be in the National League and play the Padres, with the camera, when the camera guys would like hover over would show have a shot of the city. It looked really beautiful. It looks like a really beautiful place. I understand why he wouldn't want to leave there, and why he's probably not committed to the move to Los Angeles if they do move to Los Angeles. I can't see him going to Tennessee. I really, and sooner or later they have to think about their quarterback situation, because Rivers is not young. He's 34 years old, and he's coming off a pretty bad back injury. You don't know how much longer he's got. They do have to think about their backup situation, and maybe they might address that in this draft. But they got to think about it in the next 2 years. Excuse me. Well, actually, they only have 1 year left with Rivers on his contract, so they might want to think about it this year. It's something to think about. I don't think it's a dire need. Probably one of the most important positions on the field. I'm saying it's not a dire need. But Rivers is under contract for this season. I think he's a heck of a quarterback. I really do. I think they'd be stupid to trade him. If they're taking Mariota, that would be an interesting offense. It'd be interesting to see how Mike McCoy would do with his offense if he did get Mariota. I think that might might be a good situation for Mariota, but not in a trade. I'm talking about if he fell to, I think they're 17th in the draft. if he fell to the Chargers and sat behind Rivers for a year, and maybe that would be a good option for him. They do need a running back. They lost Ryan Matthews, but he's really injury prone. They don't have. They need to find maybe they might be a wild card team for Melvin Gordon. I really like Gordon. I don't like Gurley. Gurley, torn ACL, and running back are not a good combination. I don't know if he can regain his explosiveness. Again, we'll see. Again, we don't know. You never know for the draft. Nobody thought J.J. Watt was going to be what he has become, and a dominant force in this league. And guys like Clowney, who everybody raves and rants about, has really got those guys. Excuse me. Those guys tend to struggle, so you don't really know what you really don't know what you're getting in the draft. You're just addressing a position of need, and to me, the Chargers' biggest need is offensive line. Rivers got absolutely hammered a lot, and running back, they're gonna need somebody to at least control the line of scrimmage. They're gonna need people to control the line of scrimmage. They're gonna need a guy that can be an every down back. They're going to need some secondary help. Maybe a linebacker. Probably linebacker. I don't think Teo's that good of a player. Excuse me. Weddle is a hell of a player. And obviously, you got to sort the situation. You've obviously got to sort the situation out with the city. Are you staying in San Diego? Because honestly, you've got players on this team that might be thinking, well, I'm not going to commit to you if you're not committing to, me in the city, and my family lives here. So there's a lot of things going on with the Chargers. I think this is going to be an interesting draft for them. This is really an interesting offseason for them. But San Diego, they could be a playoff team again this year. They choked on the last day of the season. But I feel like if they improve their offensive line, they'll be fine. They need. I know they got. Is it Virgil Green? They got somebody They got somebody ready to take over for Antonio Gates, so that's good. They could use somebody next to Keenan Allen in the receiving core. Wide receiver, offensive line, running back, not safety, cornerback, linebacker. Those to me really strike me when I think of the San Diego Chargers. And actually, maybe now I'm thinking about it, maybe a backup quarterback to develop, and somebody like maybe Bryce Petty, because I really think Petty and Grayson are the two backup quarterbacks, the two quarterbacks in this draft that could be ready after 1 year. Everybody else, I think, is either 2 or 3 or even 4 years, or even I really don't want to say this. It could be longer. For maybe like a Sean Mannion, a guy that I don't think that needs to really tune his quarterback skill set before he's ready to take over. I don't think there's anybody. There's only 4 quarterbacks worth drafting, in my opinion, in this draft. The rest you could probably pick. You probably could pick up after the draft and work them out and maybe sit them behind somebody for 2 or 3 years. But really, if you get Mariota, if Mariota fell to them, they probably, and maybe they think, if they really are thinking of Mariota, maybe they think about him if he falls and have him sit behind Rivers. That's not a bad option. It really isn't. But tell me what you think they need. What do the Chargers need to do to try and get back into the playoffs? And do you think they'll trade Phillip Rivers? This is all going to be really interesting to see in the next week or so. We're getting there. We're getting towards the draft. It's going to be fun and nerve-wracking for a lot of teams and a lot of teams' fans. I know I'm pretty nervous for the Texans. But this has been me breaking down the NFC West draft needs for the San Diego Chargers. Thanks for watching.